Recording in progress.
Hi, everybody. It's Sherry with Alleged Actually, and we're back, or I'm back. My co-host Bria is going to join me in a bit, but I'm here tonight. It's Saturday, so you know what that means. It's Pop Culture Saturday. And honey, there is lots going on this week. Lots in the lineup. It's been a troubling week for the brothers this week. So we're going to get into that. Before I get into the drama piece, I want to start off with something positive. So, congratulations is in order for Miss Halle Bailey, or Halle Bailey, and her boyfriend, rapper DDG. The young couple welcomed a baby boy named Halo. Congrats, guys. She's currently co-starring in the movie The Color Purple, so you can check her out there. She received some backlash for keeping her pregnancy a secret. And guys, I really disagree with that. People say, well, they're celebrities, and so they sign up to have their whole life, revealed before for the world to see. And I disagree with that. I think it's perfectly okay to keep something for yourself. So her keeping her pregnancy to herself was, I think, perfectly fine. Matter of fact, I think it was admirable. Some people, want the world to see everything. Everything is on social media. Everything is for a like, or, for clickbait or whatever. I mean, the fact that this young woman wanted to keep her pregnancy to herself so that she could enjoy it, I think it's admirable. Again, I mean, she didn't miss a beat. She's been working. She's been on red carpets. She's been doing her thing, guys. Kudos to you, Halle Bailey. Do your thing, Miss Thing. I'm here for it. So congrats again. And next in the lineup, we have a little bit more with Mr. Katt Williams. Guys, if you were here last week, he was our shutdown closer for the night. Katt Williams blew the internet clean up with his interview with Shannon Sharpe last week, about a week or so ago, at the podcast Club Shay Shay. Y'all, he spared no one. He went at comedians like Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Faison Love, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, that's key. So much so that, if you guys remember last week, I went to try to give you Kevin Hart's statement and couldn't find it. The child, turns out he deleted his statement. So that when he was co-hosting with some of his friends during an NBA game where he proceeds to roast Mr. Williams. And so I think he retracted his statement because he wasn't so Mr. Peace and Love at that moment. I think the more publicity it got, the more Mr. Hart wanted to kind of get his get back. And so he proceeds to kind of do his jabs at Katt. Child, but per usual, Mr. Katt gets the last laugh because who should be joining his tour, his comedy tour, The Dark Matter, is none other than Miss Torrei Hart. That's right, Torrei Hart, his ex-wife, Torrei Hart. Yes, she will be joining Mr. Katt Williams on his comedy tour. She's going to do a few dates. I think there's going to be more. She'll be in the end of this month in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then she has 2 dates in February in Florida. Shout out to Miss Torrei Hart. Listen, I'm not mad at you, sis. You got to get the bag. Her kids by Kevin are grown. Child support has done dried up, y'all. And truth be told, Miss Torrei's doing her thing anyway. I mean, she did the stage play for New Jack City, and she did so great as Keisha. Y'all, listen, good on you, Torrei. Get your bag, miss. Get your bag. I am not mad. Apparently, neither is your ex. Kevin Hart actually did give a statement that was very positive. Mr. Hart said concerning Torrei that she wishes her well. So when he was asked about Torrei joining the tour, he told TMZ that my success is my success, adding, I want everybody to win, and I love everybody. So he ain't mad, y'all, and I'm not mad either. Get your paper, Miss Torrei. So, unfortunately, now it's time to get into the drama, guys. This has been a week of arrest. I mean, arrest and legal issues. I don't know what's going on, but I do not wish to delight in anyone's downfall. But I'm here for you guys. So I've got to give you the tea. What's going on in these pop culture streets? And so, alas, Mr. Peter Thomas, he was arrested on the 12th of January for a DUI. The police or the cops said that they pulled him because he was weaving in and out of the lanes and run a red light. And so they stated in their report that when they pulled him over, that allegedly there was a strong alcohol odor coming from the vehicle. They stated that Mr. Thomas's eyes were red and glassy. He, in fact, however, did not agree to do a breathalyzer, where he was then, for reasons unknown at the moment, taken to the hospital. No, I take that back. He was then taken down to be arrested. But upon going there, I guess preliminary, they do a few things. His blood pressure was high. And so they did not book him at that time. They sent him to the hospital to be treated for his high blood pressure. At that time, they did and tried to get a blood sample from Mr. Thomas, in which he also denied them that. Therefore, a warrant for his arrest was made, where he then, I guess, upon release from the hospital, he turned himself in and then it proceeded to bail himself out. Now, Peter vehemently denies that he was driving while intoxicated. And also, I want to add that it was not just DUI, that he also was arrested for having no driver license, no inspection tags, or his tags were expired or no tags, and no insurance, guys. This comes off of the news too, that his Bar One in the Miami location has since been closed. It appears that Mr. Thomas is having a rough time. And so, our thoughts and prayers are out to you, Peter. However, I'm going to give you his statement because he denies allegedly being under the influence while he was pulled over.
Good afternoon, people. My phone is blowing up. Oh my God. Everybody's calling me. I'm wondering what's going on. And then I realized it's the DUI thing that happened last week, Wednesday. I refuse to blow. I spent the night in the hospital because my blood pressure was so high. And they told me I had to turn myself in because there was going to be a warrant, so I did so. Turned myself in, bailed myself out 3 hours. Thank you, Katt County. You guys was hospitable. But I'm taking that on all the way. For all the venues and all the years I've been in this game, I've never been arrested for DUI. I'm mindful about that. I got a little brother that got killed because of drunk driving, so I'm extremely mindful about that. But thank you guys. In case you was wondering if I'm currently locked up since that came out, no, I'm not. Okay? Love y'all though. Good afternoon.
Again, thoughts and prayers out to you, Peter. Yeah, we hope that all works out for you. Like I said, it does appear that he's going through a rough patch. And so, positive thoughts to you, Peter Thomas. We hope you work it out. Moving on. More arrest news. Mr. Martell Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville was arrested this Tuesday, January 10th, on a misdemeanor third-degree domestic violence and harassment communications charge. Oh, just a second. I think Bria is going to join us. Let's take a pause and have her join us just a second. Bria, are you there? Well, it's going to take her just a second, guys. While she's coming on, we are talking about the arrest of Martell Holt. And it is stated, again, like I stated, that he was arrested on a misdemeanor, third degree, domestic violence, and harassing communications charge. Hi, Bria.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yes, sorry, I'm late.
That's okay.
Yes.
We were just talking about the arrest of Mr. Martell Holt.
Okay.
Yeah. I just told everybody what he was arrested for, which was third degree domestic violence / harassing communications. He was arrested on Tuesday, January 10th. And so there was many speculation as to who this domestic violence was towards. So it was alleged that it was his current girlfriend, Miss Ariane Curry, aka Coleslaw. But turns out that this arrest comes off of a threat that Mr. Holt made against his ex-wife, one Miss Melody Cherie Rogers, regarding revenge porn. And it played out on the show last season. And then because of, it's stated, and again, guys, this is all alleged because it's still unfolding, but it was stated that last week when they premiered the reunion special for Love, Marriage Huntsville Part 1, Melody and Martell had a pretty tense exchange. She, at that point, they say tensions were high, and that to most Love and Marriage Huntsville fans, that they were not surprised that he was arrested. Apparently, she had been in process of trying to get this warrant and have him arrested for the alleged revenge porn threat. Mr. Holt made a statement, or actually his publicist made a statement, and I am going to read a little bit of that. So let's see. It was, give me just a second to pull that up. So they allege that this is merely that his client is innocent, and that they allege that this is merely a case of miscommunication and misunderstanding. I don't know. Bria, why don't you weigh in on that?
Okay. Well, am I like, is there an echo in the background somewhere?
Not on my end. I can hear you fine.
Okay. I'll just. So where did you see that it was confirmed that it was Melody?
It's alleged that it's Melody. I've been doing my research, and that is what has come up. Let's see. There's a couple different sources. And so,
well, hold on, because I see here that it looks like the charge was for like harassing text messages.
Correct. And it states that
that wouldn't be Ariane, I don't think. That
no, it was her. It was her when he threatened her with the revenge porn. Yeah. It says they believe, many of the fans don't believe that Martell's excuse that his arrest was a matter of a misunderstanding between him and his ex longtime viewers are easy to believe him. So says that he went on social media. Well, this all started off when he was angry about the scene where he was set up with Melody, where he was upset with Carlos, where it made it look like when he brought her the flowers that he was trying to get back with her. He stated that the show was semi-scripted and that he wanted Carlos to film his real life because he was tired of being made to film with Melody and look like he's trying to get back with her. That's a narrative that he states that they're trying to put out there, but he says it's not true. I don't. I honestly, I disagree. I mean, his body language on the reunion special, part one, just it doesn't give me that he's over her vibes to me. But I do think that she does play to it for a storyline. But the revenge porn is a real thing. That has been discussed on the show. It was discussed on, I believe, last season's reunion as well, if I'm not mistaken. And so with other things that's happened, she's filed from what I have researched. And again, guys, this is alleged, all allegedly, that those charges come from, hence the harassing communications from threats that he was going to release to such revenge porn that was discussed or threatened earlier. What had you found, Brie, in your research, or what were your thoughts?
It's very hush hush, it seems like.
Yeah.
He did release a statement saying that, you know, he has the utmost respect for the mother of both of his children. Again, very vague, not really giving a whole lot. Of course, I'm going to go with Melody filed because I don't see Ariane receiving any harassing messages, and you know, like we've seen on the last reunion, he did threaten her. He did, and honestly, it seemed like Ariane was also threatening as well,
Absolutely.
saying that, like,
she had seen it.
Yeah. So it just seems like the timeline's a little off, but maybe he doubled back and was like, yo, I'm going to release this if you don't talk to me about something. Because he just seems like the type to want to, like, keep her on a leash, so to speak, keep, you know, just to keep some type of hook in her.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, Martell, I'm certainly no fan of his. I mean, by no means. He just gives nasty, misogynist, arrogant, disrespectful. I mean, this is the mother of his children, was his wife for years. Yeah.
I think that, you know, seeing the way that he interacts, or seeing the way his mom interacts with him, you can see that she's kind of enabled him to be a bit narcissistic, thinking that he can do no wrong, thinking that these people owe him something when nobody is even his sweetheart. So it's just he's narcissistic, and like he's
I'm with you, Bria.
He don't need to be with anybody, but I
concur. I like I said, I'm not a fan, but as we do with all stories, you know, we'll see how it all unfolds as details come available. We're going to update you on this tea. It's going to come out, y'all. And once it does come out, because it's public record, once, you know, things come to fruition and he's gotten ahead of it with his publicist being there, it'll come out. And when it does, we'll be right back here and let y'all know just exactly what it was. But that is what the alleged charges are regarding. But again, we will update as more information is available. And so now, I think on the lineup, we are going to add one Mr. Jonathan Majors. I just couldn't. I couldn't leave him off the lineup, and I'm going to tell you why. Bria and I had already spoken about Mr. Major's charges, and this is before, well, no, this was right after his conviction. And so just to remind you guys, he was convicted last month of misdemeanor assault and harassment for attacking his then girlfriend, Miss Grace Jabari. He has a sentencing that will be held on February 6th. Let me add that he maintains his innocence and he does plan to appeal, but he is facing up to a year, actually up to a year in prison. So, I mean, it's nothing to scoff at. It just, but you know, with this, it has really shown him in a light that was so crazy. Who knew? Let me just, you know, we already talked about his little soundbite with trying to school her on how to be a Coretta Scott King or Michelle Obama to his Martin Luther King Jr. and his President Obama, which he is certainly not. Okay. We let you hear that soundbite then. But he did his first interview since his conviction on Good Morning America. I think only the first part has been released, and there'll be another part, I think, next week. When asked about his now girlfriend, Miss Megan Good, here's what he had to say, guys. Listen up.
Maine by his side, even present for our interview. How would you describe your relationship?
Well, she's an angel. He's held me down like a career, you know. Still,
The March 2023 incident thrust Major's.
Guys, okay. I think, first of all, I've got questions from Miss Megan, but in the meantime, Sister Bernice King, one of the daughters of the late Coretta Scott King, has since come out, pretty much saying, Mr. Majors, keep my mama's name out your mouth, okay? Because see, you are certainly no Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And her mother, as she stated, is an activist that fought alongside her husband, that made her name within her own right. She's not simply some ride or die chick. Put some respect on her name, sir. You are so delusional. And honestly, part of the interview, she asked, does he think his career will survive? Delusionally, he says he sincerely hopes so and believes so. That he maintains his innocence and that his only thing that he did wrong was he shouldn't have been in that car. Priya?
Well, he's another one of who's a little bit narcissistic, because we heard, like, we saw the text messages. Yes, we saw the tape of you running away, but we saw those text messages too.
Oh yeah.
That didn't seem like anybody. I just, and then, like, I'm a body language girl. I look at, but every time he would say something about Megan, he would look off to the left.
Mm-hmm.
An indication that he's lying, and
Absolutely.
he's just like off the cuff. And I feel like Coretta Scott is like the first person that comes to his mind for whatever reason he thinks of a.
No.
And I'm just, I don't understand. He's one that I have a hard time kind of figuring out, because I'm not, well, maybe not figuring him out, but figuring out people who support him out, because this is, Like he did that, guys. Like you didn't see the text
Oh,
messages?
yeah. And then the
his, you know, his team, I don't know if they like just weren't prepared or just don't like him, have a motive to take him out themselves, but it's just like they kind of sealed it for him. And then do you remember when this was all going, it was well still pretty new, and then coincidentally cameras were there to see him like break up a fight between like, I guess, middle school age kids.
I did not see that. No.
Well, yeah, it's just like when I say doing everything he can to try to convince us that this isn't who I am, when it very much is. And I just,
It
he
is
looks like a clown to me,
yeah.
like how are people taking him seriously?
I do not know. I do not know. I am in shock. You know, I very much enjoyed him in Lovecraft Country, the HBO show that got canceled after the first season. I think it was based on a book. He was brilliant in that. That was my first time actually really being introduced to his work. Since then, of course, he's gone on to play Ant-Man, and then Creed 3 was on the come up. But, you know, that's the thing. It's like, you're right. He's really desperately pulling at strings to try to hold on and maintain, you know, his reputation and to make sure he saves his brand when it's already done. In the interview, Lindsay asked him, you know, Grace had some injuries to her finger. I mean, that coincide with what she says happens. How, in fact, did she get those injuries? When he states he has no idea. And he'd like to know, because then it would give him some clarity. Guys, I can't. I cannot.
Right. And if you looked at, like, if you know, just look at the relationship for what it seemed like she really wanted to be with him. She was willing to take whatever he gave her to be with him. And then, you know, when she finally, like, she had to, you know, report her injuries because she was severely hurt, that's when it had to come out. So
she tried to backtrack too. You remember that?
Yeah.
She tried to backtrack. Yeah. But it was too late.
It was too late. I mean, she had those injuries. She reported it. She was hurt. And I mean, people need to know. And then after that, you also saw people that he worked with formerly who said that he was awful. He would, you know, he'd go into fits of rage if something wasn't just so. And what is that? Corroborated everything that she was saying. And
it doesn't make it seem like it's far from the truth by no means.
And this is one of those things where, like, oh, it's just the media. It's you know, them trying to tear down a good Black. That's
another thing.
Right. Yeah. And that's what perplexes me about this, is how they can even try to run with that narrative. But also, you know, why? Because he tried to make it seem like that narrative, because, you know, all the things that are the links that he's trying to go to prove that he's this upstanding Black man who just got, you know, victimized by this white lady.
Exactly.
No, that's not how it went down.
That's not how it went down, sir. Or allegedly. Listen, you have a conviction. He does plan to appeal, y'all. That was his statement. We'll see what happens. But at any rate, I'm not here for it, sir. Be honest. You know, you can always
be accountable.
Take yourself up, right, when you're honest. And it looks real crazy, sir.
Exactly. You messed up. And beautiful Megan Good is not going to save you.
No, but she sure is trying. And I have questions for Miss Megan.
Me too. Good grief. Because what? Like the first one, why? Why?
What are you getting out of this man?
Why?
I mean, I know Hollywood is not treating sisters right these days, but it's not that bad. Okay? It's not that bad. You don't
Like,
need that gig. There's
no,
some acting jobs out there for you, Miss Megan. You don't have to act like his little
honestly,
girlfriend. You don't.
no.
That's a role I want you to drop ASAP.
Expeditiously, please. Like,
Please.
what is going on with you? And I mean, like the fit, the outfits, you look great, and I'm sure that, but no, wrong role, wrong role.
Wrong role. Mm-mm. Moving on. So, guys, we at Alleged Actually, sometimes our worlds collide and we have to report what's going on in those YouTube streets too. So, Mr. Funky Dineva has been trending up a storm. Now, again, when we talked about my good sis Tasha K last week, she's involved in this story too. So, for those that don't know, Funky Dineva was at one point working on Fox Soul with the TGIF show that used to air. I believe it used to air at that time once a week, hence the TGIF or TGI Friday on Fridays with Mr. Al Reynolds and Sister Claudia Jordan. And so at the beginning of the year, you would see Mr. Funky Dineva, aka his first name is Quentin, but his stage name, if you will, his persona is Funky Dineva. Had let us all know that he in fact would no longer be working with Fox Soul, and that he was going to return to his YouTube programs per regular like he used to back in the day. He alleged that Fox Soul was paying him $250,000 a year, but the platform now was wanting them to start shooting 5 times a week versus the 1 day a week, and did not up their pay enough to coincide. He alleges that he walked away. Others state that he was let go or that his contract was up and simply they did not take up the option to renew it. Child, I don't know which is true. I do know that it started off very cordial. Fox at TGIF on Fox Soul, Claudia and Al gave him a lovely tribute of saying well wishes and it was great to work with you, to his also video stating that he had nothing but love for Mr. Jordan and Mr. Reynolds, but that he believed that he can go back to his own channel and make that and then some on his own. Which, let's be clear, Funky Dineva has quite the following, the Funky Bunch. And so it's not far-fetched that he could, but he has been caught in some alleged untruths, one particularly about the salary. However, child. So it started off all cordial, and then you start to see Mr. Funky Dineva coming on every night, promptly at 8 o'clock, the same time that Fox Soul, which is a YouTube platform at the moment as well, to go head to head with the show. Honestly proving his first night, he had 14K in his chat versus their 5K. He was pretty much giving them a run for their money. So a couple things came out at this point. So much like, if you will, the Breakfast Club, since Miss Angela Yee has left, they've had rotating co-hosts that were special guests until they figure out who's going to take that slot. Fox Soul was doing the same thing for Mr. Funky Dineva, and they, in fact, had on one Miss She, We. I'm sorry, Flame. Miss Flame Monroe was a special guest co-host. Well, it is said that there's some tension amongst Mr. Funky Dineva and We, Flame Monroe, because of an interview that was taking place on the Breakfast Club, where he stated that Flame Monroe was pandering to the straight community. And and for those that don't know, Funky Dineva is a gay man. And so he does a lot of advocate speech for the LGBTQ community. So a lot of Flame Monroe's stick, if you will, is kind of in the comedic way, but just is not one that leads into all of the acronyms and a lot of times makes fun of it or makes light of it. Kind of that particular interview, he, she, we was basically answering Charlemagne the God's questions about what's acceptable and what's not. Very dismissive. For some, you know, I guess that would seem to be offensive. At such time, Mr. Funky Dineva went on his channel because he would go periodically, not like he used to, because he used to be consistent, but every now and again he would go to his channel. He did a scathing review on said interview, which is the genesis of the beef between him and Flame Monroe. Okay. It is alleged that Miss Claudia Jordan was behind having Flame Monroe come on kind of as a jab. I don't know if you guys know Claudia Jordan, but she is known to be messy. And so thus begins. Yes, Claudia was on a season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and one of our favorite reads by none other than the lovely Miss Nene Leakes was a little read on Miss Claudia with her bob in one scene when they were in Jamaica, the Bahamas, Jamaica. Was it Jamaica?
One of those.
One of the islands. She came out with her natural bob, and Nene Leakes made the joke that the bob was tight. Girls, you know how you do that whole little flip that bob thing, be like flipped up right tight and don't lay right. Well, Miss Jordan was the victim of a flat iron or curling iron gone wrong. At any rate, we are getting off the subject, but go check that out because I promise you'll get all kinds of kikis and laughs because it still to this day. I digress. At any rate, so at this point now it is that Funky Dineva does have an issue with Claudia Jordan. And again, he starts doing his show going live every night that they're on at 8 o'clock promptly to bring his following back to his channel and away from one said Fox Soul. He also has beef with now Tasha K because Flame Monroe came on her show. It's Tasha K maintains that this interview was already scheduled before Flame did Fox Soul, before Funky left Fox Soul, that she did call and wanted to record the phone call where Flame and Funky Dineva would be able to have a talk. It is said by her that she was trying to forge some peace between them. He got wind of it, and it was a no, ma'am. It was a no, ma'am, and he called out Tasha K, stating that he no longer wished to be friends with her, that she was messy, he wanted peace, he didn't want to do things the way she did. I actually have a soundbite, though, about him. I guess it was during his live, and he was addressing Flame Monroe and then calling out Miss Claudia. Listen up.
And maybe Flame is confused. It's because I didn't say a name. My issue, Flame, my issue, world, is not with Flame Monroe. My issue is with Claudia Jordan. You got it out there now? My issue is with Claudia Jordan. Flame, you were just a pawn in Claudia's game. It's out there now. Now, I'm going to reserve why I have an issue with Claudia Jordan, just in case somebody want to get froggy. I'm going to leave that one in the chamber.
Okay. And there you have it. Since then, Miss Claudia has come out and alleged that Funky Dineva is broke, that he cannot pay his rent. He's come back and stated that not only was that not true, that why would he walk away from $250,000 a year if he was so broke? Yet he also had a beef with Michelle Atlee Brown, who stated the obvious. Then Wise said, "Sir, were you on live begging for cash apps?" Now, let me just say this, okay? Because here's the thing with me and with us at Alleged Actually. Well, I'm going to speak for myself personally because I'm actually fans of all of them. You know, again, this is a new thing for us. This is a new channel, a new podcast. And we're going to get to an announcement in just a second. But I watch them all do what they do. They have great followings and there's a lane for everybody. It is kind of disturbing how much they all infight when everybody kind of is doing a similar thing. Maybe we work better if we all work together. And, but I did watch Funky Dineva's live. I'm going to be honest. It did give desperate. He didn't have a plan. He kept asking people in the chat what they wanted to see him do, how they wanted to have it structured, products that they wanted to see him list for his merchandise. It did seem very impromptu, as though that was not indeed his plan all along. And so that is simply an opinion, but I will state that he is certainly getting his views, his likes. People are tuning in. It's been alleged that people were tuning in, sadly, like myself, to see him address the mess, that they think it may die down. I don't know, guys. Look, I wish everybody success, just as I wish us success. It's enough room for everybody out here. But yeah. Any thoughts, Bria?
Pretty much. I echo like everything that you said. I didn't really find a whole lot on this, other than, of course, his videos that he did. I feel like Claudia is messy.
She is.
I feel like there may have been a lot of behind the scenes things that we're still not privy to, and that I bet will come out as more of this unfolds. I don't know. I don't know. She also strikes me as, like Claudia, somebody who, like, if she feels like her job is being came for, she's going to try to like throw the weakest link under the bus. Quite frankly, I would have thought that would have been Al Reynolds. So I'm not sure by Funky Dineva at the boot.
Yeah, and you know what? There's tea about that. It has come out that since then, now the two of them have unfollowed each other, and that Al Reynolds is also now establishing his own YouTube page. Child, a house divided.
There's a lot that's going on, and I feel like at the root of it is Claudia.
I think so.
Something's going on.
Also been stated that Fox Soul is also looking to have a TV presence, and so that there's a platform that the TGIF show will be having some sort of TV presence in addition to the YouTube, and that because Funky Dineva has been reprimanded for his rants, he had to publicly apologize to Halle Bailey for calling her ugly, for talking about her body. And he has done that a couple times to, particularly it's been stated, to Black women. He did come back and apologize, kind of recanted that apology too back on his channel. But I think that, well, it's been stated that Funky was a little bit problematic if they were to pursue a TV platform. Allegedly.
No, that makes sense. That does. I don't know. She just.
But listen,
I
Her
don't trust
reputation is not solid. And quite frankly, she's been kicked off quite a few things. She used to be on the Foxhole with Jamie Foxx, kicked off of there because she can't keep her mouth closed. There have been other things. She got kicked off of Real Housewives of Atlanta after one season. It just, I don't know.
She's messy.
She also was trying out for the spot on Breakfast Club, and it seemed, child, there's another bit of tea. It seemed that Miss Jess Hilarious was the front runner. It even was stated by her that she got the job, and then they tried to play crazy on the last episode of the Breakfast Club, as if no one has been chosen. She announced it at one of her concerts. Yeah.
But I thought they actually did choose Jess Hilarious.
That's what Jess Hilarious said. They're playing like they don't know who's being chosen and whether they're even going to have a third. Yes, honey, I don't know. There'll be more to follow on that next week because I'm certainly going to be looking further into that. Absolutely.
I thought that was solidified already. That's crazy.
We all did, because let's be clear, I thought she was certainly the best fit.
Definitely.
Wow. More to follow on that, guys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we're going to close out on just not even really a recap, just kind of like a discussion. Love and Marriage Huntsville Reunion. Now, we already talked about Martell Holt, who is from the cast member from said reality show that is aired on OWN, executive produced and pretty much owned by one Mr. Carlos King. It is getting actually quite buzz. You know, I don't know how you guys felt about the season itself, but the reunion is giving. Bria, what were your thoughts on the first part of the reunion? It actually airs part 2 tonight. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts, everybody seems uncomfortable, and I'm not quite sure why. I also noticed that most of the couples showed up separately, which was odd.
Except for Stormy and Courtney, they came out together.
Yes.
And Kimmy and Maurice came out together, if I'm not mistaken.
Arrived separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arrived separately. Okay.
So not sure what that was about. But yeah, it was only the first part, so they're just kind of diving into everything. They did go into the whole how Tasha had like copied word for word Stormy's policy on her website, and there was really no apology that was given because Tasha felt like she didn't do anything wrong. She said that she hired somebody, and although she hired somebody and paid somebody to do it, that it wasn't still not her bad, even though it was her website and her name on it.
Exactly.
But I don't know, Tasha, she kind of gives me not slow, but don't laugh. Just like just a little, maybe a little slow, maybe a little off. I don't know. Something is weird about her to me.
There is.
Like,
I agree.
It's like she's not quite all there. And you know how I mentioned that faraway look that Chantel has in her eyes?
Yes.
She has a little touch of it as well. A little touch of that faraway look. And I don't know, with a partner like Marcel, I feel like you would feel kind of crazy, so you probably just wouldn't know what to say because everything that you do say could be like, twisted and
sure. It's Gaslight City over there.
That he, like so I bet she feels just like, I bet she feels crazy every day. So I'm sure that's why she's so far away in the eyes.
Yeah.
Kimmy, I wish they would have touched a little more on Kimmy and Maurice's issues, because he really did embarrass her quite a bit this season. And
they touched on it, but what really irritated me is, number one, how Carlos King, he gave him a look, but he kind of let Maurice off the hook, and Kimmy. He did. Kimmy supported him in that. And, that makes me sad because that was outrageous.
It was. I mean,
And
she
for
was
those
the
who don't know
one.
what we're talking about, Maurice Scott and Kimmy Scott. Kimmy had a breast cancer diagnosis, and she has been very brave to share her story via the show. Maurice has come out publicly in interviews stating that her lack of sex drive and their sexual relationship has, I guess, been next to nothing since she's been battling cancer, and that it in fact wasn't the cancer or the treatment, but it was all in her head. Y'all, that was so disgusting. Listen,
Right.
and to see her defend him, mm-mm. Yeah,
It's gross.
it's really gross. And I really think Carlos should have let him off the hook as quickly as he did.
No.
Though social media put a hurting on him, so you know.
Oh, and then the way, and here's another thing that I cannot stand the way Carlos King hosts interviews. He is not a good host. I am sorry. Because you don't throw something out there like a rape allegation and then just kind of move on. You want to kind of sit there for a little bit. And he just did it
Right.
like, oh, so they accused you of this. What do you think about that? And then that was it. And then I'm like,
I know.
We're looking at Kimmy, and Kimmy is like, because he did end up asking her, "Are you okay?" Like, but that's something serious. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It felt so callous and just like there was no care in it. It was just all mess. And that's not something you want to mess with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
very serious.
I really don't. Anyways, but we already know that we don't particularly. I mean, I like his shows, like, for what it's worth. He does have the best shows on OWN.
Which is not hard to do, guys.
I want you, that was her being messy. That wasn't me this time. But yes, for what it's worth, he does got that going for him. But I mean, it's like it's OWN. So come on.
Right.
But he thinks he's this, for lack of better words, Andy Cohen. He thinks he's the Andy Cohen of OWN, and
he is no Andy Cohen.
Oh, that's not right. Exactly. Because Andy would never host a reunion like that.
No.
It was all over the place, didn't really hold people accountable, kind of just, sat on it.
It just didn't even flow. I mean, it didn't even.
Right.
It wasn't even really in line with the season. And it just, I would say the most jaw-dropping, if you will, part, because you had the dumb stuff between Melanie and Martell about her saying that he never sexually satisfied her. Who cares? His stupid 12-year-old self went and harp stupid. That was dumb. I wish they had edited that completely out.
Right.
The end, when I think the one part that we're looking forward to is Tasha versus her cousin Kiki. Kiki seems to know some things about Marceau's infidelity, real deal. Even such that Tasha had asked her to investigate some things, which I believe to be true. But instead of letting Kiki talk, of course, she throws out there that in fact, her and Marceau weren't the ones cheating, that it was Kiki and her husband that both cheated on each other. And then even in the beginning, she paid someone to go out with her husband. That was silly. It could be true, guys. I don't know. I mean, y'all need to tune in tonight, part 2. Check it out.
Yeah, I think with that, like, I think that Tasha could be book smart, but I don't think that she's smart enough to like concoct that.
Me neither.
I think that that's all Marcel saying, oh, well, she's only doing that because she's trying to throw us off of, what she does, her, addiction, her scandals, all of this. She just wants to be you, Tasha. Like, what are you, like, why would you even believe she wants to be, like, and it is. And I feel like down there, men kind of have this these ideologies where I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna do what I do, I'm gonna make sure that the bills are paid. You don't gotta worry about wanting for anything. The kids don't gotta worry about nothing. But when I'm doing what I'm doing, you don't get to ask me just because I'm making sure that y'all are good.
Yeah, home is taken care of, so
All
I'm free to do what I want.
Yes, it's like they all have that old-fashioned mentality, and we saw how one played out where there was a oopsie baby. I still fully believe if there was not proof of that infidelity, that they'd still be together.
I agree. The baby was that was the last straw for her. You can't get away from that.
No. And, you know, since Miss Coleslaw, Ariana, whatever you want to call it, now if she would have played the part as the mistress and just kept quiet, it might have even worked then. However, he messed up by stepping out anyways, but messed up really by being with somebody like her who was like, oh no, I'm here and I exist and this is your son and I'm not going anywhere.
Right. So it just, the public humiliation, a woman like Melanie it's just not gonna fly.
And I believe birds of a feather flock together, and I think that they were all doing dirt. It's just that
The public humiliation.
Martell's mess was on his hands. They're better at cleaning up their dirt.
Agreed.
They have enemies. They probably make their girls sign NDAs, but trust and believe they're all doing the dirt.
They all know each other's dirt. I fully believe that.
I mean, shoot, you know how they all get, or how Martell gets whenever his stuff comes up. He looks at them like, I know y'all don't want me. I know
that's why you don't generally see them have much of an opinion on what he does.
They don't. Because Martell's like, not too much now. Not too much. Not too much.
Don't let me blow your spot up.
Don't do it.
Right. At any rate, guys. So that's pretty much what we have for you for Pop Culture Saturday. We just want to give a special thank you to each one of our subscribers. We had a little growth this week.
We did.
We have met and surpassed the 100 subscriber level. And so guys, please continue to subscribe and share. Like, this has just literally been an absolute pleasure, an idea and dream that we decided to go forward and do. We're enjoying this, and we're so thankful that you guys are enjoying what we're putting out there. We're going to keep bringing you good content, so keep coming back. We're trying to reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and when we do, we're going to do a special giveaway at that time. More as we get closer will be announced on what that giveaway will entail. So guys, please keep sharing, liking, subscribing. If there's anything you want us to talk about that we're not talking about, any shows you want to see us recap, put it in the comments. Let us know. Give us some feedback.
Yes.
Because we're here for you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for another Pop Culture Saturday. We will be back, or I will be back on Monday to recap Married to Medicine. And then you can join us on Wednesday where me and Bria will be recapping 90 Day Single Life and the reunion part 2 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Then come on back Thursday when we're going to be recapping Married at First Sight Denver. And then, of course, by the time you get to next Saturday, you know what time it is. It's time for that pop culture, y'all. So come on back next week. We're going to have a good lineup for you. Good shows to recap. Thank you guys so much for your support. We really appreciate you. Have a wonderful Saturday evening, and we will see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.